Welcome to the second part where you are going to learn on how to do question 5, looking at this question paper here on the right. So on the right hand side, as we are looking, you see that you have to replace the header with a footer and change the question number to question 5. So when we look at the spreadsheet here, the header is not showing until we go to the header, and then we can go to the footer and put question 5. But when we type the footer, question 5 in the footer, we just have to make sure that in the header we don't have anything remaining. So I'm going to click insert, and then you see there, after clicking insert, I have text in case if you don't see header and footer immediately. So you can go to text and then you'll find header and footer. So when I choose header and footer, in the header there is question 4. So I'm going to remove this because we are replacing the header with the footer, and then I'm going to the footer, scroll down, and I'm using this scrolling down, click it as many times as I can up until I can see the footer section where I can type question 5. So I'm going to type question 5. So after typing question 5 there, I can scroll up quickly like this, and then make sure that I can see my spreadsheet again. Then what I can do now is to click view, and then after clicking view I go to normal, so that now I don't have the header and the footer breaking my spreadsheet. So I will scroll up again, and then I have my spreadsheet displaying. So that is how you change the previous question number to the new question number. If they said replace the header with the footer, it means now what was in the header now will be in the footer with a different number. 5.3 says change the page orientation to landscape. So page orientation is found under page layout. You see, when I click here on page layout, I can go to orientation and choose landscape. So it means now when I'm going to be printing later on, my page will be in landscape, not portrait anymore. Number 5.4 says merge and center the heading in row 2 across column A to F. So in row 2 here, this is row 2. So you don't click the number 2 when you are trying to merge and center, because it will highlight even up until where your spreadsheet doesn't arrive. Like my spreadsheet only ends here in column E. So when I highlight row 2, I will click inside row A, drag until I have all the shaded areas only in row 2 between A and E. Then when it's like that, then I go and click home, and then I will see merge and center. If I maximize my screen, there is merge and center. When I click merge and center, it will only merge across column A to E, but only in row 2 because I highlighted correctly. So now let's look at the next question. It says insert new column and rows to key in the data as indicated in the spreadsheet. So it means on our question paper we need to scroll to see the new spreadsheet, how it's supposed to look like. So this is how the new spreadsheet will look like. So when they say insert new column, they were referring to this indication on the manuscript sign. And then we are going to insert the text that was not there. There it is with the new rows, and then we just make sure that it looks exactly the same so that we can be able to do the calculations. So I'm going to make sure that my spreadsheet looks like the one that we see there. So the first thing that I noticed is that before the column anticipated increase, there's a new column that says total number registered per age group. So please note that total number registered per age group, it's coming into different rows. Row 4 is containing total number registered. Row 5 is containing per age group, but when you read it all together, it appears as if it's 1. So this is important because when you print, your row and column headings will be indicating where you have inserted the text. So if you just type and use anything that can make it look like the way it is, but it's not actually typed in the correct row, you will lose marks. So make sure that you put everything according to the row where it was appearing, because your row and column headings will be showing or will be indicated if it's printed or showing in your question paper. So you need to be careful when you do that. So now when we insert a new column between voters registrations and anticipated percentage increase, it must come exactly between D and F. So I go to E, D and E. So I go to E, I right click E, and then I click insert. A new column will come just before anticipated increase. So this is the area where I'm going to have the text that we just looked at now. So that is the area where we are going to have total number registered per age group. So when I click here, I can type total number, then I have a dot or a full stop, space, registered, then now I go below because now the row that I had to type per age group is row 5. So I will say per age group. So remember, in the first video we have learned that when you have inserted something, make sure that you adjust your column so that your text is visible. So I will go between E and F, adjust a little bit, adjust again until my text is actually being able to show. So now it's clear, total number registered per age group. So when we look at the information that must come here, is going to be calculations. And then at the bottom here I have to prepare and put all this text because we are also going to have calculations. You can see there. So we have inserted a new column, it means you'll get a mark for this. Now I need to insert this text so that we can be able to be ready for the calculations. So there at the bottom of my spreadsheet I have total voters registration in 2019. So this is going to be the last text, so it means I must insert new rows above this. As you see that there is new information here with a manuscript sign that says insert new rows. So what you do, you count 1 2 3. Now there are 3 rows. So it means when you right click on 11 and click insert, a new row will come there. So now there are 2, then you right click again and insert, and then a new row will come there again. So it means now you see they are above total voter registration in 2019. So what I do now here, I will type what I see in my question paper. Highest percentage registered in 2014, lowest percentage registered in 2016, average percentage registered in 2019. So now all this information, it should be clear. So I don't want all this to overlap to the new column, so I will go between A and B and adjust so that they remain in column A. Then my text is clear that it's under column A. So I've inserted all the text that I had to insert according to this question paper here. So now I'm ready to look at the questions so that I can do the calculations. Now let's go back a little bit to see the instructions for these calculations and what is remaining. 5.5, insert new column and row to key in the data is indicated in the spreadsheet. We have done that. 5.6, display the new column heading, column E, in italics and right aligned. So this new column that we have inserted must come as italics and right aligned, only that column. So the new column that we have inserted is this one. I'm just going to make it italics and then make it right aligned, so that is going to show that it's a new column which is not related to the others. So you don't do all the new columns as I did now in the exam. You follow the instructions. So probably here when they mark, they will see that this one is different because it's a new column. So don't cram and say that all the new columns that you added from question A now in B, you are going to make them like this. So follow the instructions as you are given in your question paper. So right now, when we look at the next question, it says display all figures in column C 2016 in italics and centered. So column C 2016 in italics and centered. When we look at column C here, there must be italics and centered, all the values. So I'm going to make them italics and then make them center 2016. So I will center them there. Then make sure it's italics there. So they are all centered in italics. The others will remain as right aligned. Right, so we have done that one. And then when we look at this one, it says change the contents of the column heading in cell B4 to D4. So this dash means 2. It means we are going to highlight a range from B4 to D4 as indicated. Change the contents of the column heading in cell B4 to D4 as indicated. So when we looked at that column, the question here, it says change the contents of the column heading in cell B4 to D4 as indicated. So we are going to look at the question paper and then look at what is going to change here according to the way they say it's indicated. So I want to open the spreadsheet at the same time. There. Right. So column D there. So when we look at column D and you look at D4, so D4 it's here. This is your D4, and then you are going to start at D4 according to the question here. Let's look at it again. B4 to D4. Okay, we start at B4 to D4. So we are going to change the contents so that they can be according to how it's indicated. So B to D. So when we look at our question paper there again, B4, there it is, B4 to D4. So we're supposed to merge. If you look at B4, percentage voters registrations, so it means it was supposed to be merged the way it is here, where you don't have lines that are breaking your cell. So when I come to mine and check B4 to D4, we have already done it. It's one cell because it's merged and centered. That is what you were supposed to do. Now when we look at the questions again on the question paper, it says insert the correct formula in the cells marked with corresponding question number to perform the calculations listed below. Number 5.9.1, total number registered per age group equals to sum of registration per age group. So is the sum function. Sum of registrations per age group. So when I go here, I'm going to calculate. So make sure that before you calculate, you look at the question number where the calculation must start, then you will autofill later. So we are going to calculate here where it's 5.9.1, only there, then we autofill. So we are going to have a sum, and then we are going to add them together with a sum function, because the question here says sum of registrations per age group. So what is sum of registration per age group? Sum of registration per age group, it's when we have all the registrations here per age group, meaning 16 to 24 years. We have 2014, 2016, 2019. We add them together with a sum function, then we will have the answer appearing, then we autofill. So I'm going to do a sum function here equals to sum, and then when you say sum, you have to highlight when the bracket has opened, close the bracket, press enter. So that is your answer. That arrow which is pointing down in your question paper, which is this one, means that you autofill. So when you autofill, you look at your answer and then you go to this dot here until your arrow changes to be a plus bold sign. Hold, click and hold and drag down so that it can calculate automatically. Autofill means automatically fill the other cells with the same function. Now we go to the next one. The next one is 5.9.2. Then when we look at our questions, 5.9.2 says anticipated percentage increase, number registered per age group in 2019 multiplied by anticipated increase, which is B3. So we are going to multiply D6 with B3. Then we use absolute cell referencing in the formula. Now when we look at our spreadsheet, we will find that in a column in our spreadsheet we have a percentage here in B3, which is 8%. That is what they are referring to. Then when we look at our question paper, that B3, we are going to multiply it with D6. So when we look at our spreadsheet, D6 is when we have this figure here. Then we are going to use absolute cell referencing for this one when we click it. So when we say equals to and you click that one, you give it F4 on the keyboard, like just pressing it there. So when you press F4, you see that it changes to a $sign, and then you can. So these $signs, it means that that cell that we just highlighted now with a percentage will be known throughout all the others when we autofill going down. So that's why they say use absolute cell referencing, because when you autofill, this one is not known throughout the spreadsheet, but now it's introduced in this spreadsheet inside. Then when we autofill, we don't get an error hash value. So now I'm going to multiply. You click a multiplication sign, and then you would click the total number registered per age group, which is that one there, which is D6, which is percentage voter registrations 2019. Then I click it. When I press enter, the answer is there. Then I can autofill. So your calculation was on B3 multiplied by D6, because they gave you a hint in the question paper there. D6 multiplied by B3, and we used absolute cell referencing. When we scroll down now, here they say highest percentage registered in 2014, lowest percentage registered in 2016, average percentage registered in 2019. So when we look at our spreadsheet, it is also indicating highest percentage registered in 2014, lowest percentage registered in 2016, average percentage registered in 2019. So it means we are going to calculate here, and then we will also calculate here, and then we'll calculate there, but in using different functions because we are looking for different things. So for the first one here, we are looking for the highest. The formula is max for maximum. Open the bracket, highlight everything in the range of 2014, close bracket, enter. The second one here, we are going to calculate the lowest. The function is equals to mean, open bracket, take everything in that range, close bracket, enter. When we come to this one, we are going to calculate the average. Now, when we take it, when the bracket opens, we take everything in that range, close bracket, enter. So we have calculated 1 2 3 4 5 calculations. When we look here, we have an indication in our spreadsheet that it's 1 2, then we have 3 5 9.4 9.5. we are remaining with the one which is 9.6. Total voter registration in 2019. Total voter registrations in 2019. So we are going to use the function sum here for the 2019 voters percentage. So we'll say equals to sum, open bracket, we take everything there, close bracket, enter. Then we get the total voter registration in 2019 there. Now when we look at our question paper again, after doing all the calculations, because the instruction was coming from 5.9, so we have done all of them. And then when we go to 5.10, they say use autofill to insert the formula in the cells indicated by the arrows. We have done it when we were dragging the answer to the other cells. 5.11, format all figures to appear as number without decimal places. This is how you do it. All numbers to appear as decimals, as without decimal places. So these numbers are going to appear as numbers. The figures are going to appear as numbers without decimal places. So when you change figures to be numbers, you highlight all of them, and then you right click inside what you have highlighted, you go to format cells, and then you choose number because that is what is needed. Decimal places here, you just make sure it says 0 because we don't want it to have 0.05, 0.01, so it will round off what it needs to round off, and then it will remove all the 0.00s where they are appearing. So now when we look at our question paper again, it says adjust column width where necessary to ensure that all information is visible. So remember, I told you every time that when you do something on your spreadsheet, go between your column headings there on top, adjust so that nothing is hiding or nothing is squeezing, so that when you print you don't have many pages appearing as your spreadsheet. You lose marks for that. And then after adjusting, they say insert borders, horizontal and vertical lines for the new column and rows as indicated. So when we look at our question paper, and then we look at how the new text is covered in our spreadsheet, we see that there is a line on top of the new information and there's a line below our new information, only to cover what we have added, not across everywhere where we have text. So when I go to my spreadsheet, I'm going to make sure that it looks like this, where we have the lines appearing on the new information as well. So when I go there, I will just insert the lines here. So how do you insert lines? You go there, make sure you're under home, click where you see borders, and then take a pencil to draw the lines where the lines are missing. So if you have a pencil here, you draw them, and then if you make a mistake like I did now, you can go again, take an erase border, and then click or drag on top of what should be removed. If you removed something by mistake, take a pencil again, draw what was supposed to appear. If you don't want a pencil anymore, you want to continue clicking so that you can type, click there to drop the pencil, then you have your cell selector back, then you can do other things that you need to do, like typing more work that you need to type. Right, so now when we look at the next question in our question paper here, it says insert a thick outer border as indicated. So now when we go to our spreadsheet, if you highlight everything here, we need an outer border which is thick. So when you right click after highlighting the whole spreadsheet and you go to format cells, you will see border. So under border there, you can choose a line that you want, the style of a line that you want, thick border, and apply it outside here where you see the preview. The inside ones remains as thin as they are. So when I click OK, so you will see now it's thick. So we have a thick border here just below 65 years and over. So I will just highlight there, and then I go to right click, format cells, border, and then I will take the style and click it there, because this is where I highlighted. So on top of my highlighting there will be a thick border. When I click OK, you will see that there's a thick border there. So when we look at our question paper to see the spreadsheet that was created, you see the thick border is also there. That is why they say as indicated. As indicated. So now insert a thick border. Alright, as indicated, we have done it. Save the document as question 5 according to your college examination regulations. So I'm going to save it as question 5, and then number 5.16, it says preview and print question 5 without row and column headings on one A4 page. Place the printout on your examination folder. So now when we go there, we are going to start by saving, and then I'm going to make sure that it's appearing on one page when I try to print it. And then when I save, obviously file, save as, because I'm going to change the name, and then I will give it a name called question 5. Question 5. Then I will save it, and then if I was going to print it, obviously I will check print, and then here it should always say page 1 of 1. Then it means everything is printing on one page. Right, so now looking at the new next questions here, we see that we have to open the spreadsheet question 5. That is the spreadsheet that is currently open, and then change the question number in the footer to question 6. So I go there, then I go to insert, I go to header and footer to activate it, then I have to scroll down to my footer section, and then you will see that there is question 5 there. Now I change it to question 6, that's 6 there. Right, then I look at the question again. It says display the formula used for your calculations in question 5. So how do you display the formulas? Make sure you see your spreadsheet, you scroll up, and then when your spreadsheet is showing, make sure you go to view and normal, so that you don't see your header and footers which are breaking your spreadsheet. Then you will go now to show your formulas. You click formulas, and then you click show formula there. You will even notice it by this icon here in most cases. So when I click there, it shows the formula and my spreadsheet grows, because the formulas are expanding my spreadsheet. Remember, every time when you do something and your spreadsheet grows, don't panic, adjust. You will always find a question to remind you, or an instruction to remind you to adjust your columns. So I'm adjusting, and then I adjust, and then I make sure that when I adjust, I don't cut. You see here, if you adjust too much because you are looking at the heading, you forget about the formula, it will cut. So when you print, and it prints like this, you will lose marks, because when they mark, they don't see what are you doing here, what were you doing here. So I will just go and adjust nicely, and then make sure that during adjusting I don't cut my formulas. Then I go and adjust even here. So if it cuts the information during adjusting because you want it to be on one page, there's nothing wrong, as long as your formulas are showing, because this is the question where they are going to be marking the formulas. Then here I adjust again until you see that I'm nearby the end of the calculation or the formula there. So now I just need to make sure that it prints on one page. You can check the file print. So you see that there is one thing missing, because here it says page 1 of 2. So to make sure that everything fits on one page, you go to view, page break preview, and then when this blue line appears here, you go to it in the middle, not between E and F. Go when the arrow is pointing left and right, then drag the blue line outside, you drop it there, then it will disappear. After it disappeared, you go to view again, you click normal. Then now you see that small dashed line is showing that it's at the end of your spreadsheet. So it means if I check now and go to print my spreadsheet, all of it now fits on that one page. Nothing says page 1 of 2. So when they mark, they find all the work on one page, then it's easy for me to get all the marks that I deserve. Alright, now going to the next question, it says adjust the column width. We have done it. Save the document as question 6, and then preview and make sure that you are printing on landscape. So I'm just going to save it as question 6. Then I will go to file, save as. Then I'm going to change the question number and say question 6. Question 6. Then now when I look at the question paper for the last question, it says open the spreadsheet saved as question 5. So this one of question 6, it means we are going to close it because we saved it. Then I'm going to go and open the one that says question 5. Now when that one of question 5 opens, we still have the answers there. It's not the question of the formulas. Now when I'm going to check the question here, it says change the question number in the footer to question 7. So I'm going to the footer now. I'm going to insert header in footer, and then when you scroll down so that you can see your footer, there it says question 5, then we change it to question 7. And then because we are going to do something here, and then looking at the question, it says insert a 3D cluster column chart to compare the percentage voter registration 2014, 2016 and 2019. Right, so when you insert a graph, you are going to insert a cluster according to the instructions. So you highlight all the years and then with all the numbers. So you even take age groups, because your graph needs to indicate what is it representing. So I'm just going to click there, and then you see it's a column cluster. Then I go down to see the clusters. So here is the cluster bar. Then when I take that one, this is a cluster graph. So when we look at the information here, it says a 3D cluster. That's why I went to 3D cluster. And then it says move the graph chart to appear below the spreadsheet as an object. So when you go to your work here, make sure you view it, click on the spreadsheet, view normal, so that you can have your spreadsheet not breaking because of the headers. Then I click my graph, I drag it down so that on my plot area, then I have my graph on the chart area. I hold, and then I make sure that it's below the graph. So when you scroll down, you see that everything shows the graph is below the spreadsheet. So now when we look again here, it says move the chart to appear below the spreadsheet as an object. We've done it. Resize the chart if necessary to fit the spreadsheet and the chart on one A4 landscape page. So remember, we were checking if it prints on one page. Now you have to go and check again because there's a graph below the spreadsheet. When you click on print, you will see your chart is there below, and then you go and check again. You see now there you can resize the chart, because they said you can resize the chart, but make sure that it fits on one page. So whatever you have done to the chart, or the changes that you would have been doing in the exam, make sure that you don't make it too big so that it overlaps like now, and then you know that it will be cutting. So make sure it's according to the size of the spreadsheet going to the right horizontally, because it's going to print on landscape. Then when we look at the next question, it says insert the following chart title above the chart using font agency FB size 10. So we are going to make sure that we have the title there, chart title there. So chart title that we are inserting now is going to be in agency FB. So I'm just going to click there on chart title, and then when you go to change the font style of that chart title, when I click there, I'm looking for agency FB. There's agency FB. You see this font is changing, and then I make it size 10. So you have to type exactly what you are given. It should be percentage voter registration. Below you must have your ID number, comma, question number 7, percentage voter registration. So I'm just going to write there and say percentage voter registration, right? Percentage voter registration. So it's what I type, and then below it, okay, registration there. Below it, I need to type your examination number and your question number. So after typing registration, when you press enter, it will just put your cursor below so that you can type your own ID number, that is your examination number, comma, and then you will say question 7 according to this question paper. That is how you are supposed to change your chart title. And then insert the vertical x-axis, percentage registered. Insert the horizontal x-axis, age groups. So inserting the vertical Y and the horizontal x-axis, we have to use the chart element. So when you click here, you will see there's a plus sign here which is green. When you click there, you will find axis titles. So if I go to axis titles here, then I will find vertical and primary horizontal. So if I go and tick there, it will appear, and also tick there, they will appear. So you see now on my graph I have a portion where I can insert all those things. So this is vertical, this is horizontal. Then you check in your question paper. Now they've said that vertically you insert percentage registered, horizontally you insert age groups. So here I'm going to say age groups, and then vertically is percentage registered. You just go there, highlight, and type what you are given, percentage registered there. So your graph is modified according to the questions as you do it. Display the legend on the left and the chart showing the correct series names. So now you have to insert the display the legend on the left. So what is a legend? A legend is this, where you have the indication of the colors that are actually appearing on your graph. So we want it to be on the left. You don't do anything to it, you just go and modify your graph so that legend can be on the left. So if you go and click design here, you will see chart element here on the left. Then when you click it, you will see legend. When you go to legend, it will give you positions. So if you say left, you will see that legend is no longer there, it is now there on the left. That is how you move it. And then when we look at the next question, it says save the document as question 7 according to your college regulations and print on one A4 page. So I'm just going to save this as question 7. So sometimes in the exam they will say move the graph to be on its own sheet, probably not on this question paper that I'm doing now on this video, but if it comes in an exam, you need to know how to do it. Firstly, make sure that you click on the graph so that you find these chart tools, and then when you go to format, or you go to, let's click here, when you go to design, you will see move chart. When you click move chart, you will see where it says new sheet. When you click new sheet, when you click OK, it will move to the graph to be on its own sheet. So there at the bottom you have sheet 1 and chart 1. If you want to go back to your original spreadsheet, you click sheet 1, then you'll have your spreadsheet there. So that is where the graph was appearing, which is according to this question paper. But if they say move it to be on its own, then it will be under chart 1 after you followed what I just shown you few seconds ago. Then there it is. Then maybe they want you to print it alone, but in this case we were not supposed to print it alone. We were supposed to print it below the spreadsheet. That is how it was appearing few moments ago. So when we look at our question paper, that is the end where you are going to be printing the graph. So on your spreadsheet, again, just to emphasize some of the things that you might know, that you need to know for the preparation of the exam, when you are printing your spreadsheet with your answers, they might say print with row and column headings. So let me show you. If I go and click print here now, you see here I don't have row and column headings. Row and column headings are the A, B, C, D and 1, 2, 3, 4, which are appearing here when I work. So when you want to print with them, you will go to page layout, then on the page setup group you click the group launcher like this, and then when you go to sheet, there you will see that printing comes with options. So if I want to print with row and column headings, I put a tick there. When I click OK, it is activated in the printing. You won't see it appearing here or make any changes that will happen here. But when I go to file and print, you will see now they are part of my printing. It means they will come out when I print. So when they say print without row and column headings, they are talking to A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4 again, not showing. They are not referring to what you are typing as the headings of your spreadsheet. So all these letters here, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, are row and column headings. If you are going to print without them, you make sure you still go to page layout, page setup group, there I click, and then under sheet I remove the tick. Then when I click OK, it means when I print they are not going to show. So when I go to file and print again to show you, now they are no longer there. So that is the difference. Thank you for watching.